Welcome back to the OKC Foodcast. You're joined once again by your hosts, Nabil
and Ashley.
And we have brought in another special guest this week. Some of you might recognize his name. Some of you may have eaten his food. It is Eric, or as he's known on the street, Easy
with Scottie's Deli.
And now he's shaking his head, so we might need a backstory on the Easy
No real backstory. Just it's just something that's kind of followed me through years and years. Different groups of people have all come up. They're all very original and come up with Easy E because my name is Eric.
Nice. Well, welcome, Eric. We're excited to have you on.
Yeah.
Excited to be here.
So before we get into anything else, we always talk about what our favorite thing we ate this week was.
Yeah, fantastic.
So you want to start us off, Ashley?
All right, I'll start us off. This week, the favorite thing I ate was actually something I made. We had a get-together with the family, and it was actually a potluck. So the three things that I made that I really enjoyed was a Greek tortellini pasta salad. And this was, the tortellinis are like 3 cheese, and in the pasta salad I had, you know, your traditional Greek toppings: tomatoes, black olives, red onions, feta cheese, and a Greek dressing, I guess.
Man.
Yeah.
And you didn't bring anything with you again, did you?
No, of course not. And then I also made these really cute chicken salad tarts. So I am kind of obsessed with chicken salad, and I put green apples in it, and what else? Grapes, green onions, celery, and then I put them inside of these little baked tartlets, if you will. They were very, very delicious.
Serena loves chicken salad.
Yeah, I do too. I find new ways to and new things to do with chicken salad, for sure.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Eric's kind of like
I actually that's actually really interesting. I was just sitting there thinking I thought my favorite food was something, and then you just reminded me that I made a smoked chicken salad last week for the Broadway and Brews fundraiser for the Lyric Theater that we did some events for, and that smoked chicken salad was I was pretty proud of myself.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
What do you put in your chicken salad?
You know, we keep it real basic. Just a little bit of mayonnaise, salt, pepper, onions, and celery.
Yeah.
But we smoked the chicken first, and
I bet that makes a huge difference.
it was. I had never been a fan of chicken salad until I ate
this
that one. Yeah,
All right.
And it was it was so good. I think we're actually talking about putting it on the menu.
Oh, nice.
That's exciting.
I definitely want to try that.
Yeah, you know, I'll be there. I'll be the taste tester if you need one.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. You can make a few different types, and
yeah. So you'd say that was your eat of the week?
Yeah, I think it was. It was just something a little bit different, out of my wheelhouse, and we were doing it for a good cause, so it all just came together.
Right. Perfect.
Nice.
What was the favorite thing you ate this week, Nabil?
My favorite thing I ate this week was something I made as well, so really common
Nice.
theme, pretty cool. I made a pesto from scratch.
Oh, nice.
So, and not using a food processor. I used a mortar and pestle, and hammered it out.
Wow.
It actually surprisingly didn't take too long.
No?
I made it in the time the noodles were ready, which I was kind of like, that's what a lot of people say. That's how long it should take you. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, this is my test. I'm going to do this. It turned out real well, I thought, and I like pesto. And that fresh pesto with a little bit of garlic it tastes so good.
Really good. What'd you put the pesto on?
I made some chicken, some noodles, put the pesto on top of the noodles. I didn't even toss the noodles with it until they were on the plate.
Mm-hmm.
So it still stays fresh and uncooked.
Yeah.
And topped it with the chicken and some peppers, and it tasted pretty good. And then the pesto was left over, so I made sandwiches.
Oh, perfect.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Cool. Well, should we dive into Scottie's Deli?
Let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, let's just get a little bit of background about you, Eric.
Sure.
Where are you from originally?
Originally, I'm from the Southern California, but when I was 5, I moved to Chico, California, which is in Northern California, just north of Sacramento.
Okay.
So think Aaron Rodgers, or actually where those big fires were that you heard about recently. That was 15 miles away. So
wow.
Just down the hill, and that's actually where a lot of the evacuees are now. So
gotcha.
Northern California is where I claim. I've lived in Las Vegas, I've lived in Houston, I've lived in Southern California, and now Oklahoma.
Cool. What part of Houston did you live in?
Midtown.
Okay.
Yeah, Midtown.
I'm from Houston myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I grew up in Sugar Land and then lived in the Galleria area.
Galleria has really grown in its
It has.
craziness down there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whenever I visit Houston, it's in those two areas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sugarland or Galleria.
Or Montrose. I spent a lot of time in Montrose as well.
Yeah, Montrose, Midtown. I actually lived off of a Montrose and West
love
Alabama.
Montrose.
So
very cool. So when did you come to Oklahoma City?
I moved here in 2014. April, May 2014. Right. I was by training. I had 12 years experience as a geologist in the oil fields.
Interesting.
And so Devin had brought me out.
All right.
Things didn't work out with them. And so now I'm pursuing a different career path.
Yeah.
Very different from geology.
Right.
Very different from geology. But I get to be my own boss. And if there's a mistake to be made, it's mine and mine alone.
Yeah. Yeah. There's pros and cons to that, right?
Right.
100%. 100%.
We both know all about that.
Yeah.
For sure.
So your passion for food, obviously your new path that you're following is a deli or delicatessen.
Delicatessen.
There you go.
Delicious.
I almost stumbled upon that.
It is a tongue twister.
Yeah, it is. It is. So that passion for food, did that start? Obviously, it must have started before 2014, before you moved to Oklahoma.
Right.
Tell us about that.
So it's kind of a long, convoluted story. I'll try to keep it short, though. Long story short, my parents worked a lot. Dad worked nights. Mom worked an hour and a half away. So I was left to my own resources quite a bit growing up. So, I kind of was always cooking my own foods. Mm-hmm. That's not necessarily what instilled the passion, but my grandma also had a sandwich shop while I was growing up. It was in Redding, California, about an hour and a half away. And whenever there was weddings, you would watch my grandma and my aunts and the cousins all get in the kitchen and cook, and they would do everything from scratch. So between that and then just moving to different cities and seeing the cuisines from different cities, and once I actually had a job and had money and going to these different restaurants, trying new things, it really made me want to learn how to cook a little bit better. So this started probably around 2008, 2010, somewhere in that area where I just started trying to cook everything from scratch, watching the Food Network, saying, oh, that looks interesting. Let's try that this week. And going to, living in California, going to farmers markets, picking up fresh vegetables, and then going home and letting those tell me what was going to be cooked for dinner that night.
I love doing that so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's probably the thing I missed most about California would be the farmers markets.
Yeah.
But just, coming home and cooking a nice meal, a nice glass of wine or going to a nice restaurant, I would say those were kind of the fundamentals that started this passion for from scratch cooking.
Very
nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
So when did you open Scottie's Deli?
Scottie's Deli opened in August of 2017. So we're almost at the 2-year mark right now.
Yeah.
And why a deli?
When I moved here, again, having grown up with a sandwich shop in the family, it wasn't anything like what I'm doing. It was more of like a Jersey Mike's, right? They just kind of built the sandwiches, pre-sliced the meats and all that. But when I moved here, I couldn't find what I considered a really good sandwich. There's 1 or 2 places that are not bad, but I
might ask you about those later.
Yeah. Okay.
Put you in the hot seat.
All right. Well, honesty has always been my strong suit, so lucky you. But just I saw a hole in the market, and I thought to myself, Oklahoma City is really growing, especially on the culinary scene, the night scene, the bar scenes. just all over. There's just growth, and what I've noticed is every big city I've ever lived in or visited, they've always had like a kind of signature deli.
Right.
Every big city does. So I thought Oklahoma deserved one.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's true. And your location. So you're on 23rd Street. What is it? 23rd and was it Walker? Yeah.
And Walker.
What kind of drew you to that particular location?
That's funny you asked. This actually kind of ties in with the last answer. Thinking about delis in all these big cities, the deli more or less started kind of in New York, right?
Yeah.
And then it was perfected in Southern California. I had to throw that out there because I'm a California boy. So, but I mean, all the movie executives and all that go to these delis in Southern California. So when I was looking at all these different areas and I saw the renovation of the Tower Theater, I thought it was a match made in heaven, just kind of this whole big city, theater and deli. It just seemed hand in hand to me.
Yeah. I feel like it is a perfect location.
Yeah.
And it's awesome that you have that parking lot right across the way.
Oh my gosh, that is so convenient.
So convenient. And then there's a walkway. So, I mean, and I've never seen it where you can't get a parking spot. I mean, maybe from time to time it might happen, but
the only time I've seen it is for sold out shows.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. 'Cause I know that area can sometimes be really tricky for parking, but not for you guys. So
No,
well done.
I will say the owners of the building, they actually own the lot across the way as well.
perfect.
They're tied into with the city and the urban development plans for the area, and so they lobbied and had that street light put in there. So I think they've been instrumental in kind of making that area and helping that.
That's
area
a really
grow.
good addition. That street light just in that middle. Yeah.
For sure.
Maybe not for the people driving.
Well, and I will say people don't always see it. It's a new addition to town, so even if you have the green light, I would still possibly look both ways.
Right.
Yeah, that's always good advice.
Words to live by.
Yeah.
All right. So you said your grandmother had a sandwich shop. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, it was called Big John's, which was named after my grandfather. So the story goes that my grandfather went out to the East Coast, and I believe he probably went to Jersey Mike's, the original Jersey Mike's, and then came back with this plan for a submarine sandwich shop. So it was named after him, Big John, which is funny because that's one of our best-selling sandwiches is the Italian cold cut sandwich, and it's called the Big John. I actually wanted to name Scottie's Big John's, but with Jersey Mike's and Jimmy John's and all that out there, I figured there was kind of, let's separate ourselves a little bit more than that. So with that in mind, I wanted to keep that family connection for the name. And so I thought long and hard about it. And what I kind of came to realize was that the other thing I really remember about my grandma, besides going to these shops with her, or the shop with her, is that she was always really proud of her Scottish heritage.
Okay.
So much so that my middle name is Scott.
There's the connection.
So it's the grandma's Scottish heritage and my middle name.
Perfect. Yeah, I was really wondering, where did Scottie's come from? So that's,
we're talking to someone named Eric.
Eric is
Scottie.
I don't know if Eric knows Scottie, but no, it all makes sense now.
Yeah, the one we get is, I guess there used to be a Scottie Arani. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He works for Edible amongst his own personal self.
Yeah.
And he actually had a sandwich shop in Nichols Hills about a decade ago or more. I'm not sure. Called Scottie's.
Really?
So we get a lot of the Nichols Hills people coming in and asking if we're the same.
In the kitchen with Scottie?
In the kitchen with Scottie.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's funny because I too thought there might be some kind of tie.
Yeah, and I was unaware of that.
Well, you got that existing name.
Yeah. So very cool.
So you mentioned you noticed there was a hole in the sandwich market in Oklahoma, and you wanted to do something different than what everyone was doing. Tell us about that.
Yeah. Long story short here again is we do everything from scratch. There are some sandwich shops out there where I feel you get, a slice or two of, if you remember growing up on the square prepackaged ham.
Right.
It's a square kind of all pressed together, and you get a couple slices of that. And here's the deal. It's a fine sandwich for what it is. I wanted something a little bit more. For instance, our pastrami, it takes 3 weeks minimum. We brine it for 3 weeks. We rub it in a very expensive pepper, coriander, spice rub with spices from Savory Spice. And then we smoke it for another 8 hours on top of that. Our turkey, we're taking that out. We're smoking it in house. Our roast beef, we cook that ourselves to medium rare. Our ranch, it doesn't come from a package. It's all fresh herbs and spices.
We just did an episode really focusing on ranch.
Yeah.
So you ranch lovers out there, Scottie's Deli.
Check it out. I'm gonna have to try that ranch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Oklahoma gravy of your dreams.
Right. Oklahoma gravy of your dreams.
Well, BuzzFeed does say ranch is our condiment. So.
Yeah. We have some listeners that would agree with you.
Yeah, we started with making our own mayonnaise. I wasn't happy with the quality of it. We use a very high quality product called Duke's. That a lot of the top restaurants use, and I just thought it was a more consistent product. So we backed away on a couple things. Pickles are another one. We don't have the space to do them correctly. The space we had was a little warm, and they were coming out soft. I just thought that,
You want that crisp.
Yeah, they weren't the crisp, and it's one of those, like, we'll do everything we can from scratch if it's better, but if we don't believe it's better, we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's more respectable in some way than trying to do everything from scratch, because you're like, hey, this isn't turning out better than what I can get here, and for my consumers and my customers, I'm going to give them the best I can.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
Absolutely.
it's cool that you tried doing everything from scratch, and you're like, this worked, this didn't. Let's reevaluate.
Absolutely. The learning process and just, inconsistency.
Right.
And so with some of your menu items, I feel like you've put a lot of thought into how you were doing everything from scratch. So what are some stories about some of your menu items?
Stories.
Yeah. Like, for example, I really enjoyed your coleslaw.
Okay. The coleslaw, that's actually, I'm glad you started there. That makes it easy. I actually have a story about the coleslaw.
Oh,
Some I have stories for, some I don't. That one I do. The coleslaw, there is a place in downtown LA on 8th and Figueroa called the Original Pantry. It has been there since, I want to say 1924, if I remember correctly. They say they've never closed their doors. They've never been without a customer. So they have been open 365,
Wow.
24 hours a day.
Christmas.
Everything.
With someone always in the shop.
With someone always there is what they
Wow.
say. That's their claim.
Okay.
So this place, I remember my dad, talking to my dad about this place, who lived in Southern California before I was born, and it's still to this day. If you show up on a morning, there's a line wrapped halfway around the block for this place. You go in and it looks like just an old little diner. They've got the chalkboards with whatever they have on the board. And they erase it as they go. And it's usually, it's simple ham and eggs, steak and eggs, stuff like that. The waiters they probably started as dishwashers or busboys. They've been there for 50 years. Wow. They've got their black vest on and their little ties. I always like to go there after a Dodger game. That's just where I went after the games. So as you sit down in the evening, the first thing before you even order, before they bring you anything, they bring you a water, some slices of sourdough, and a plate of coleslaw.
Oh, nice.
And so I asked them about the coleslaw years ago, and he said, "Hold on a second," walked in the back, made a Xerox copy, brought it back, and gave it to me.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So I'm
Lucky
using the Original
you.
Pantry's recipe for coleslaw.
That's awesome.
I'm a big fan of coleslaw, but so many places just don't quite get it right for me. And I don't like it when they chop it up too fine, where it's almost just like mush.
No KFC for you, huh?
No. Yeah, exactly. And I feel like yours was very crunchy. I liked the flavors. And I actually had it on the Langer's number 19. Very, very good.
The Langer's 19. That was not on the original menu, actually. I had a customer come in and say, I want a pastrami sandwich, no mustard, put the Russian on there, put the Swiss on there, and put coleslaw on there. And I started thinking about it, and I go, well, that's how I eat mine. And I started talking to him, and it turns out he was from LA and said, well, that's the number 19 at Langer's. So Langer's is a deli in LA.
Okay.
Langer's and Cantor's are the two most famous delis in LA. There's a couple others, but those are the two most famous. And their number 19 is one of their best sellers, and it's a coleslaw pastrami sandwich.
That's
awesome.
cool.
So that's why I kind of paying homage by naming it the Langer's 19.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's pretty cool. So you mentioned that wasn't on the original menu.
That wasn't, but it came on after probably about a month. I mean, it was pretty early in the game when we realized that. So
We need this one.
yeah.
Do you do a lot of editing to the menu as you go along, or does it stay pretty steady?
We did for the first year. We kind of, tried some different things out. We've been pretty stable in the last, I'd say 6 months. We haven't made a lot of changes. But that said, coming up on summer, I'm probably going to make some tweaks to the menu.
Okay.
In the next couple of weeks. One thing we've been hearing since day one that we weren't set up for, we didn't have a fryer, is people just wanted some chips or some fries along with their sandwich.
And you don't want to do packaged chips.
And I didn't want to do packaged chips.
Right.
You gotta try
You're
from
welcome
scratch.
to buy. Yeah, I mean, we have Zaps. You're welcome to buy packaged chips.
Right.
I'm not going to serve because. So we're probably going to start doing some chips on the side, and we're talking about introducing fries to the menu.
Cool.
But we're seeing what the logistics of that's going to look like as far as how that affects the timing of the cooking of the sandwiches.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Can I make a suggestion? Maybe some sweet potato fries, extra crispy. Yeah.
Noted.
You heard it here first.
We do occasionally make changes to the menu, just kind of refining more than overhauling.
Makes sense. As you should.
Yeah.
As you should.
Cool. And you guys have a really great selection of local beers. So what are some of the local beers that you carry?
I think pretty much everybody.
All of them?
I
Nice.
can't think of anybody we don't carry at the moment.
That's
There's
awesome.
a lot in Oklahoma these days.
In
it's like
Oklahoma City,
booming.
we haven't broached into the Tulsa market yet. So.
Right. I really feel like our local beer scene is booming. I mean, more than ever.
Huge. Yeah, I think that the supporting local, just like I like people when they support us, and I try to support them back. And I think the beer scene becoming a huge part of the economy in this town is something to support as well.
Who would you say, or what local beer would you say is your favorite?
Yeah, that's a pretty easy one for me. I'm a big fan of the Broken Tile from Vanessa House.
All right.
It's just the juiciness of it. It goes really nicely with a lot of beers or a lot of the sandwiches. It goes nicely with a lot of beers too. Yeah.
I like having that beer on the side of the beer.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of the Vanessa House. I mean, I hate not giving credit to people like Elk Valley is doing a really good job too.
I just brought on one of their beers. Their Pilsner. Really, really good. I like it.
So you covered what you drink at your restaurant. What do you usually eat at your restaurant?
What do I usually? I actually usually eat the APC. The APC is short for the Arabic Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering what the APC stood for.
Yeah, Arabic Philly cheesesteak. It was just a mouthful, so we decided to shorten it up a little bit and make it roll off the tongue. I grew up on just beef dips. I love the beef dip. It's simple, straightforward, savory, warmth, and so we stepped it up a notch by putting it on garlic bread.
Nice.
So it is a roast beef sandwich that we cook in a little bit of au jus to warm it up. Put that on garlic bread with some caramelized onions and jalapenos and American cheese.
Wow.
That's actually what I got today.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've not tried it. It sounds amazing.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good.
I like to hear fantastic, but I'll take pretty
so
good.
I'll tell you what. I don't like criticizing sandwiches, but like
No.
my jalapenos kept falling off.
They should have gone underneath the cheese.
And so they were on top of the cheese.
We were training some new people. It should have been underneath the cheese. I have asked them to put it under the cheese.
But it was still really good. It was still really good. It was fantastic. How's
we
that?
can fix that. That is a fixable problem.
Nice. Well, how about we do some this or that, deli style?
Ooh, some this or that. This is a new little segment that we thought of. We're going to ask Eric what he prefers, this or that.
Okay.
So just rapid fire, first thing.
You ready?
I don't know. Am
You
I?
seem kind of nervous. This is easy.
It's deli style.
Very, it's very deli focused.
I'm the guinea pig. All right.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Very deli focused. All right. So the first one, pastrami or Reuben?
Oh, Reuben.
Pasta salad or mac salad?
Mac salad.
Honey mustard or Dijon mustard?
Dijon.
I knew that answer.
Dijon every time. Provolone or Swiss?
Provolone.
Then sriracha or Tabasco?
Sambal.
Oh,
That's a good answer.
that is a good
That is
answer.
a good answer. That's my favorite one too.
Yeah, sambal.
Fries or chips?
Depends on with what. With the sandwich, though, deli style, I'm going to say chips.
All right. Cool.
With your beer.
With a beer. Salty.
Yep. All right. Well, that's all for this or that.
Well, that was a short this or that.
Yeah, we need to add more.
Well, I mean, I can expand on every answer if you'd like. I mean, Tabasco goes better on some things than sriracha, which some better than sambal, and then sometimes there's time for tapatio or Cholula.
Yeah.
Every hot sauce has its use.
Yeah,
That is so true.
we've definitely
Or if you
discussed
haven't
that
tried
before.
it, Maria Sharp's, the habanero sauce. It's
Oh,
delicious.
I have not
Sharps.
tried that.
Okay.
That's what I usually put on my breakfast potatoes.
Ooh.
Okay.
I'll usually go with Cholula on my breakfast potatoes.
I used to until I discovered Maria Sharp's is the hot sauce of Belize.
Okay.
They have it at Super Cow Inn.
I'm
Ooh.
taking a note of this.
That's probably one of my favorite grocery stores. I spend hours in Super Cow Inn. It's just, there's so much. I'll go for like very specific
There's
things.
so much. That's it.
I go for very specific things and I leave with a cart full and it's just like, did not plan on this, but
It's delightful.
yeah, it really is. It really is.
Delightful. All right. So I think we've come to the part where we do the kitchen sink.
Okay.
So we basically are going to throw everything at you but the kitchen sink and the kitchen sink.
And either or, we'll see what
Is
happens.
there sound effects to go with this? Throwing things at me?
If you were asked to showcase one ingredient, what would you choose?
Yeah, that's.
That's a tough one.
Can we narrow it down?
One ingredient
Anything.
on your sandwich.
On
Okay,
a
okay.
sandwich. Okay.
You said narrow it down, so
Yeah, no, it's still a rough one. I think I might have to go with turkey just because it's so versatile and you can do so many different things with it. It makes a great Reuben, but then you could turn around and do like a turkey bacon ranch. It goes so well with. It goes on salads. I just think that it's versatile. You can make a lot of different combinations with it. And it's a little bit on the leaner side, so people that are health conscious can use it as well.
yeah.
I think that's a good answer.
Smoked,
Smoked.
always
Always.
Cool.
like that. What is your favorite snack food?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Doritos.
Doritos.
What kind?
Nacho cheese?
Nacho-
Just
this-
straight, regular
they're-
nacho cheese.
The originals.
The originals.
I like the spicy nacho.
They're not bad. I mean, there's a place in my heart for all of them. But it's funny because you do a little bit of the nacho cheese Dorito with a little bit of the Maria Sharp's hot sauce, and you've got yourself a fantastic snack.
All right. I was about to ask if you dip it in anything. For me, I don't eat a whole lot of chips, but if I do, it's Doritos in sour cream dip. What is that?
I don't like dipping my Doritos in anything.
French onion dip. Yeah.
You dip your Doritos in French onion dip?
Yes, I do.
Interesting.
And it is delicious.
Okay.
Yeah. Try it.
We'll have to.
If you are cooking at home, what's your favorite meal to make?
I really enjoy grilling. Being from Northern California, I just have really fond memories of just hanging out with friends, having a beer or things that are now legal.
We won't mention what they are.
Just throwing down a tri-tip is a real big one. We used to get those a lot. It's real big in California. So just grilling and then, fresh vegetables on the grill.
Yeah.
Just so delicious.
The char.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite things to do.
Nice.
A medium rare tri-tip with some grilled vegetables.
Yum.
Nice.
I like grilling corn, like corn on the cob.
100%.
I love that.
Yeah.
Really
And then
good.
rub that with some chili and lime.
Chili and lime.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe some of that Maria Sharp's.
That or a little cayenne pepper.
For sure.
So if you're feeling lazy and you don't want to fire up the grill and you want to pick up a quick bite, where do you go?
Oh,
It doesn't have to be a quick bite.
so many places. I mean, this town. I would say our being my girlfriend and I, our go-to is Abel's. Abel's is at 50th and MacArthur, and it's just good Mexican food. It's nothing fancy. They now have their liquor license, so they have these canaritos that are just delicious. Cantaritos.
Okay.
What is that?
It's tequila with some fresh juices, and then they give you a straw with the tamarind.
You had me at tequila.
The chili, the chili tamarind straw. I mean, it's delicious.
Chili tamarind straw.
Yeah, it gives you a nice little. It's like a fruit roll up with some spice to it.
Interesting.
They've got a fresh fruit bar there, so you can get like a little container of fresh fruit for $5, and they do the lime and the chili on it and the honey and all
That
that.
sounds awesome.
They're open pretty late, 11 o'clock. So even if we're working at the down at the deli late, we can roll in there afterwards.
That is good that they're open late.
Yeah. They do the all the tacos, and it's just
It's so good.
so good. 5 different kinds of salsa.
He's like, I'm gonna go there right now after this.
I might meet you there.
Yeah, we might. Actually, the other one I was going to mention is Szechuan Bistro,
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
We like that.
which is probably where we're going since we're pretty close to it.
Yeah. That's a good spot. All right. What country or region that you've been to do you think has the most intriguing food culture?
So I haven't traveled as much as I would like. I could go a couple different ways with this. I mean, Mexican food. I'm being from California. It's just a kind of a part of, I think, of who I am. And there's so many different regions of Mexico. I mean, everybody just thinks of tacos or whatever, but I mean, on the coastal side, you have a lot more Caribbean influence, a lot more fish influence. As you go inland, you've got, even your Tex-Mex. I mean, there's just so many different varieties of it. That said, I've been kind of fascinated with Basque food. Basque is the region between Spain and France, in the Pyrenees. It's actually they think one of the oldest languages, spoken languages on Earth. And so they just, you got the French influence, they got the Spanish influence. It's got a lot of garlic. You think tapas. It's got some
tapas.
really cool stuff there too. Germany's one of the places on my list that I would like to go and try them out a little bit. Actually see what their cultures are about. That's high on my list.
There's so much food to be had throughout the world.
It's funny is when you start thinking about vacations and you're planning it around food.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what I do.
What you do.
Isn't that what everyone does?
Yeah.
That's what everyone does, right?
That's what they should do. Like,
It's like, what place has the best restaurants? Okay, this is where we're gonna go.
what
Seriously.
beach? Psh.
Yeah. Now I'm going to San Francisco in September, and I'm taking my mom, and we have already been planning out what we are going to eat, and we're not going until September. So
Nice.
God, I just my mind just went blank on me. One of the third oldest restaurant in America is in San Francisco, and it was probably one of my favorite meals ever.
really, I need to write this down.
So it's Tadich Grill. Tadich Grill is, if I remember correctly, the third oldest restaurant in America, and it's definitely the oldest in San Francisco. You're going to notice a theme of the places I like. You go in, and it's just kind of like this old diner, kind of wood benches, wood tables. But you got the 60-year-old men in their white jackets and bow ties.
Nice.
They're all kind of smart Alecs.
So you like old people serving you?
Yeah, well, yeah.
In bow ties.
Hey, they've had 40 years of practice. They know what they're doing.
True.
And so I think it was one of the original places for the cioppino.
Okay.
The cioppino, which is kind of the Italian fisherman's stew.
Ooh.
And they just give you this loaf of garlic bread, and you're dipping it in, and it's got fresh crab, and
That sounds
it's
really
just
Oh my gosh,
amazing.
Tadich.
Tadich Grill.
That's where I
there will
am
be if you don't get there at the right time, though, you might wait an hour or two.
Okay, good to know.
And they don't take reservations.
They don't
I was
take
just about to ask
reservations.
that. They probably don't.
Well, I will definitely be making a stop there for sure.
It's amazing. You won't regret it.
All right.
So that's your favorite restaurant in San Francisco?
In San Francisco.
What is your favorite restaurant in OKC?
Well.
Or Oklahoma?
Abel's.
I thought we covered this already.
Yeah, Abel's. Make it easy. Depends on the type of food, right? I mean, it really does. I'm a big fan of the ranch if I really want a steak. Their bar staff is very friendly and knowledgeable. We mentioned Szechuan Grill or Szechuan Bistro, for Chinese. That's fantastic. And I would even throw Chow's in the ring with them.
Yeah.
Chow's is another of our favorites. It's just really hard. But I think Abel's has my heart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Fair enough.
I haven't been to Abel's.
I haven't
but
either.
I'm sold.
I haven't either. Yeah, I'm. It's gonna happen this weekend. I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, go. It's not going to be a Barrios or a Midtown type of place. I mean, it is literally some tables and people moving really fast, and it's almost. I think every time we're there, I've never seen it less than probably half full.
Right.
That's a good thing.
And I've never seen it completely full, but it's there's always people there.
Nice.
Cool.
And they're just friendly people.
That's awesome. So yeah, you guys check out Scottie's Deli, and a lot of times you'll see Eric behind in the kitchen. Right, you're back there a lot.
I am back there.
I saw you whenever I was there. I was gonna introduce myself. I was like, let me get a real authentic taste of everything,
and I was still invited, so that's a good sign.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. The Cubano was also delicious.
Oh yeah, the Cubano. We actually were on Cheap Eats for that.
Oh, cool.
It was one of our first chefs, Jake. He was from Florida, and so one of his big things was making that Cuban as authentic as he could possibly get it. So he created the mojo pork marinade, and wrote the directions down on how we cook it. We make our own ham. And then our baker got the bread just how we wanted it. He started making the pickles. I mean, we make our own mustard for it. I mean, there's the one thing on there that we don't make is the Swiss.
Okay. Well,
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
Oh my gosh.
It is so
How much
good.
space do you have back there?
Not enough.
I mean, it's a pretty big kitchen for a deli, I'd say, for sure. But
So this is one of those. What do you define a deli as? I mean, is a sandwich shop a deli, or If you think about places like Katz's in New York, right? I mean, they're going through thousands of pounds of pastrami, and they're cooking that all there. And they have a pretty sizable kitchen. It's just kind of hidden in the back.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about a sandwich club,
right?
A perfectly fine sandwich. They're not making anything there. They're just putting the sandwich together.
Right.
So, it's I wouldn't call them a deli, but I'd call them a sandwich shop.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's just what do you define a deli as?
Right.
I don't know if I call a lot of the places that call themselves deli. I'm not sure I would define them as a deli.
Right.
For me, it has to be you're smoking or curing your own meat.
Right.
I think that's like the baseline of the deli because you're getting meat from the deli, not somewhere that they've bought it from.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And the only one we don't make is our salamis, and that's purely because we don't have the room.
Right.
Do you have any plans on trying to expand or get like a
second location?
curing facility?
Not at the moment. Not at the moment.
All right.
You've thought about it though.
I have thought about it. I've thought about locations, and there's just a lot of logistics of how that would look, as well as, if an investor were to approach, it would be a discussion I would have.
Yeah. Very cool. All right. I think we can wrap this up.
Anything we've missed? Anything you want to add?
No, I think just thanks for having me. It's a lot of fun. I like what you guys are doing, and if you guys can't see this out there, but it's a nice little setup we got going on.
Thanks.
Thank you. And the hours for Scottie's Deli.
The hours daily, we open at 10, and essentially we close at 8 o'clock, and then at 9 o'clock on weekends.
Okay.
Except for Sundays, we close a little early at 5.
Very cool.
Nice.
And people can also follow you on Instagram and
Twitter, Facebook, whatever your social media platform
of choice. Yeah. At Scottie's Deli. Is it OKC?
Scottie's Deli OKC.
Okay. Perfect.
Excellent.
And thank you guys for listening.
Thanks for listening. Follow us as well, OKC Foodcast on Instagram and Facebook. Not on Twitter.
No, we're not. But Facebook and Instagram, we do a good job there, I think.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Sure. Also, if you enjoyed this podcast, please rate us in your favorite app store and write us a review. That helps more than you think it does.
Yeah. And share with your food-loving friends. We appreciate that. And until next time, eat well and be happy. Bye.
Bye, guys.